Today I'm going to give you 12 tips for recording Vcam in Unreal Engine, and stick around for the last one because it's the most important.
Hey, welcome to Realtime Workflows. I'm MX Bell. I worked on Deadpool and Wolverine, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, 1917, Hobbs and Shaw, Wheel of Time, Little Mermaid, No Time to Die, tons more. What you're going to get in the channel are my pro tips and how I use Unreal Engine to make films. So let's get started. Let's make some stuff. See you down the road.
Welcome back to Realtime Workflows. So I've prattled on about recording Vcam for a few videos now. I just thought I'd kind of summarize a little bit. I'm going to take you through my 12 tips for recording Vcam in Unreal Engine. So tip number 1, use decent Slate names. Make sure things are identifiable. Your slate exists in Take Recorder, and here is where you name your slate. It should make fucking sense, right? You should know what sequence you're trying to record. So if I go into my content browser here, look, I've got my scenes laid out. I've got, these are my sequence names. If I'm doing one from this one, I'm gonna at least make sure that the letters E and F are in there so I know roughly what it is. But preferably, more so than that, keep a spreadsheet. Here's the one I had for this. Right, so here's where I name out all the beats and what the sequences are, sequence names are, ENF, EAD, CKR, all that stuff. What the character's in and what motion capture I've been recording for them. And then down here I record each take as I do it, and I just make a couple of notes, and then preferably try and choose a select. Let's call it select, makes more sense than I'm saying it out loud. And I pick the one that I think is best. Usually it's the last one, you know. So just make sure that you know what it is that you're recording when you're recording it, and you name it appropriately. Number 2, match your volume in real life to your level.
So, for example, this is the pub from my Giblets project, which we've been seeing on the videos lately. And this is a scan of the room where I do the mocap recordings downstairs. And if I bring this up here, you might recognize it. There's a Christmas tree in it right now. But if I spin this around, what you may not know is that there's actually a bar in my house. And it's basically here. So by coincidence, the bar in my house, you can see where the bar stools are, kind of line up with the bar in this pub, and so does that wall, and so does this floor. So by chance, this is a really good example. So when I film motion capture downstairs for this place, I tend to want to try to establish a start point for the Vcam on the bar, and I put my Vcam in the virtual world on the bar as well. I match them up so that it has a one-to-one relationship with this wall and the bar, and I can wander down there through that door. I can't walk through this wall. It's not a very good scan, but this is a wall here. I can't walk through there, but I could walk through here, and I could go all the way down, and that goes into my kitchen. And this way, it goes into my living room, and I could wander down there.
And then I kind of know, just in my head when I'm filming, roughly where in the scene, in the real space and in the virtual space that I am. I'm very big on establishing one-for-one likenesses between the real space that you're in and the virtual space, and you'll see that in this video, which is my Unreal Vcam method that I used on Deadpool and Wolverine. Now in Deadpool and Wolverine, we taped out the set, and then I established a starting point in real life and in the level, so that then when I actually went to actually show the directors and the producers and everything what the thing looked like, they could actually move the Vcam, the iPad, around the taped out in set where the set was going to be built, and help to visualize it. Okay, so it's no different. It's the same process. You could also check out my story world versus real world video, which isn't about Vcam, but it's just about trying to establish that the two worlds, a bit like the Upside Down in Stranger Things, the two things live on top of each other. They're the same space. The more you can make them the same space, the more successful you're going to be in your recording. Number 3, use a consistent start point where possible. So, for example, and I've talked about this in the same video, I talked about this where we established a start point for the Vcam, and what I've done in the past is made a 3D model of the space that I'm in, or scan it, establish a start point in the real world, put your Vcam at that start point inside that little environment, and then move the environment to match the level. Again, I show that in that video up there, where we're moving around, we're moving the environment. This is the environment that I used in that example, this office, which has a long corridor outside that goes that way. And so my pitch was, well, if we call that the trench, then my iPad starts here, and therefore it's looking into the trench wall when it starts. So whenever I pick it up, I'm probably going to face that way, right? I'm going to be facing down the trench. So pick a consistent start point and make it make sense inside the virtual world. Number 4. Don't record at current time. This is just a button you can switch off. You can see it here. Set a start at current time. We don't want to do that. It will start it at an insurmountable number of frames down the timeline. The only way you would want to do that is if you're going to then match up with timecode from somewhere else externally later. But if you're just recording previs, or if you're just making a film, you don't need to do that. It just makes it easier if you just don't start at current time. That'll start at 0, which is much more manageable, and you're good. Number 5. Disable the Vcam to jump in and out of the viewport. For me, one of the most frustrating things about Vcam is the inability to kind of jump between viewports and kind of see things separately. It likes to occupy the one main viewport. Enabling it, it takes over the viewport, and by disabling it, it fucks off again. Generally speaking, unless you're recording it, you want it to be fucked off, because you can still move it around by picking it up here. We can still pick it up and move it around, which is normal. But then when we enable it, it's going to take over the fucking everything. So make sure you're constantly enabling, disabling. Number 6. Run the engine at a higher frames per second as possible, right? If you've got all your bells and whistles on and the engine's running pretty slow, guess what's going to happen to your Vcam? It could drop frames. We don't want that. So go to the menu bar here, show FPS. It's in a slightly different place on 5.6 and above. You'll find it though. And this is running at a nice comfortable 55 right now. We can also come into engine scalability. I'm on Epic right now. If I put it up to cinematic, I'm probably going to drop some more frames. There you go. You see what happened there? So we're down to 32. That's getting a little bit tight. 32. You want to be trying to make sure it's consistently 30 and above, preferably pushing 60. So we can come back to our engine scalability, and we could drop it down to medium just for recording. Doesn't really matter, and then we're at a nice, comfortable, nearly 60 frames a second there. Right. Number 7. Use Tape Recorder to trigger sequences. So I made a video on this the other day, which I think is quite important. The video's up here. You can see it here. There's a level sequence. Look, we put it in the level, and what happens when we stick it into Tape Recorder and hit record, play the game and record, it will then play. The sequence will play as you're recording. And the benefit of doing that, as opposed to record into sequence, which you could do the same thing here. So that is the level sequence that we've got here, for example, is this one, TS Pub, Andy and Dave. So we could tell Tape Recorder that we want to record into that sequence by clicking here and going to find it. And that will then record the camera into this level sequence. And you don't have to be running the game to do it. Now, the reason that I advise against that is it's going to record it into that level sequence. And then if you have to decide now whether you want to keep it off right away or duplicate this level sequence and record another one, it's just much more button clicking, much more faffing around. So my technique is to put it into the level, and then when we record the takes, they go into takes. You get a nice dated folder. And effectively, this is going to act as a bin. It's going to store everything that you record here. Look, there's nothing major. It's just camera moves. It's not taking up much data, but we're storing everything that we do, and then non-destructively, then we can go through and have a look and see what's in it and how we did. And again, use our spreadsheet to document what's in there, try and figure out what we like the best, and then use it. As opposed to recording into a sequence, deciding whether we want to keep it, delete the thing that we just recorded, and try again. This way, we just record. It's just like shooting a film. It's just like shooting a film. We just shoot, right? Get that that's in the bin. Shoot it again, shoot it again, shoot it again, and then we'll go through and see what we've got, see what takes we've got, see what we like the best. So tip number 8. When you're doing anything that involves playing the game, so you play the game in simulate mode, right? So that means choosing simulate in this menu and then hitting play. So playing the game and using Tape Recorder, Play the game first, then use tape recorder. Otherwise, you'll crash. So the game needs to be running, and then you hit the button on tape recorder to start recording. So we start to simulate, then we start to record. Tip number 9. If you're running the simulation mode and you're playing a level sequence in a level like this, if you stop the game playing, it will crash. So don't do it. Play the game, let the sequence play through, and then stop. Unless you're prepared for a crash, just as long as you know it's going to happen, because it is going to happen. Number 10. Touched on this already, but let's talk about promoting takes to shots. I talked about this on a video the other day. So we're going to record all our takes into takes. Here's a bunch of takes. We're going to go through them, figure out what we've got. So we come and check it out. When we decide that we like that as a shot and that's the one that we want to keep, we make our select. We're going to take that and we're going to move it to the relevant scene folder, copy it, and now we've made a separate duplicate entirely. We're going to give it a suitable name. So we definitely want it to be, if you want to put the project name in, you can do. I probably won't bother for this, but we definitely want a scene 2, EAD, we know that. Then give it a shot number. Let's call it 010 for whatever, I don't really know what it is. And then a version number, version 01. And now we've got a shot. We've promoted our take into a shot. We've preserved our original take should we ever want to use it. We've not deleted anything. We've not got rid of anything. Still there. But now we've promoted it into a shot, and we can go in here and non-destructively do anything that we want to do to it, build it up, change it, add lights, add whatever we need to do. And we've made an original version. Tip number 11. Edit afterwards. Now, if we've made a non-destructive version, we can edit away to our art's content, can't we? So we could come in here, we could change the lens on this thing. You know, we're going to add, we've got a camera component here. Look, let's add current focal length, and we can change it. So I recorded it on a 24. Let's take a look on a 24. Now, if we wanted to make this slightly longer, you know, we can make it 35. It's going to affect the framing a little bit, but you know, we could add. We definitely want to add a focus, manual focus distance, something like that. But what we also might want to do is add an additive transform to this. We could come out here if we just want to affect that. We just want to just adjust the overall framing because we changed the lens. We could do a bit of that. Okay. And now we've changed the framing on the entire shot. So go in and edit afterwards, right? You don't have to get everything bang on when we record. One of the beauties of this is that it's virtual, so we can just go and edit the fuck out of it afterwards. Number 12, this is the most important one. Don't fucking record Vcam if you don't have to. Kevin Smith makes entire fucking movies without moving a camera, right? Only move a camera if the story dictates it. Use lock-off cameras. Here's what you can do. Here's me making a new shot right now, right? All that rigmarole I went to create that shot, right? What if I just did this? I go, new, cinematics, level sequence, 02, EAD, let's call it shot 20, version 1. I'm going to add a subsequence, right? Grab that, put it in here. And then fucking come in here and then add a camera, right? Just come out a little bit there. Let's do it properly. That's still a shot. That's still a shot. It's just as valid a shot, right? It's just as valid. Okay? You don't have to be recording cameras. I've got a pile of videos about animating cameras. This one in particular is good. You don't have to be scared of animating cameras, and it can be a lot faster than the Vcam recording situation, which can cause crashes and it generates a lot of data. You know, it's a great tool, but only be using it if you actually really need to use to move the camera. The story takes you and you have to move the camera. And if you're a bit nervous about using keyframes, or if the camera move is more complicated than a straight, simple push in, pull out. Remember, most camera moves, as I put in that other video, most camera moves are 2 keyframes. They're really easy. And just remember, the slower the better, right? Generally speaking, the slower the better. So that's it. That's 12 tips for recording Vcam in Unreal Engine.